Not much.
He's really relaxing, so.
Yeah, I'm really relaxing. I am relaxing.
Get this computer plugged in so we can watch, or I can watch the stream. All right, how you guys been since
Yeah,
ISS?
yeah, been good. How about you?
Been pretty good. I've been really grinding away at YouTube, so
Yeah,
trying to get my viewers and all that up. So
yeah. No, hopefully this one will help get that. So I'm gonna share that out on our Facebook page.
oh
Um, we don't have a lot of like YouTube subscribers, but we've got a couple hundred followers on Facebook. So
yeah,
grab
we'll
some
try and
tweets.
get you some today.
And then yeah, I sent a link to some of the folks who were there too. So I think some of them have checked in. So because I know we were talking about how good your editing skills are. So
Oh yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
my dad hasn't watched the video yet, and I was like, dude, you should see the drone footage from up high. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's very nice. I definitely like that drone. It's only like it was only like a $400 drone too, so it's not like it was some $1,300
Yeah.
drone or whatever. But it does its job.
Right.
But yeah. So what did you guys capture while we were kind of split up and all that?
So we haven't gone through any of our evidence yet. I know Steve Aldrich has gone through a little bit of cameras, and he said he's heard some noises, but then wasn't sure if it's animals or not.
Yeah.
And I think that's gonna be our hard part when reviewing some of the footage with noises, is being able to tell if it's an animal or not. So,
Yeah.
I think for us, when we weren't with you, it was the noises in the ceiling that we think was an animal. Like
Yeah.
your brain tells you it's an animal, and I know you and I talked like when we were walking around of like, okay, you hear something in the ceiling and the place is open, and you would think it's an animal, but we didn't hear anything scurry off. There
Yeah.
were no signs of an animal, so is it an animal? And I think that's kind of where I think that's where doing this stuff gets tricky, because you don't want to just say everything's paranormal. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I know we know that there were some animals like in the cabinet.
Oh yeah.
There's definitely like a mouse in there. Um, the ceiling thing though was just baffling because it was so loud, and you guys experienced that separately from us in the same room, by the way.
Yeah.
And that's when you go, it was so loud, same room. You popped your head up into the ceiling to look around
Yeah.
too, and you didn't see any signs of an animal. So, you know, what was it? Was it an animal, or was it, something else? So,
It was the
you know,
ghost of a raccoon or something.
right.
It could have been
The raccoon ghost.
Yeah.
I love it. Um, Otherwise, you just kind of you'd get the weird little, knocks, stuff
Yeah.
like that away when we were away from you. Um, the best stuff that we had is when we were together.
basically, yeah.
The Estes, that
Yeah. That was.
hour and a half session was absolutely wild. So for anybody who's not watched your video, you should go watch the video and catch
Absolutely.
the part of the Estes that's in there. Um, I've never seen a K2 device go crazy like that,
Yeah.
and then having a REM pod go off at the same time, and then having a millimeter at the same time, as we're all just sitting there, like just saying, you keep telling us to leave, so do one of these things, and then having every device go bonkers, and You're just like, and then we'd hear the noises in the hallway when Christina would be like, "There's something about the hallway," and we're like, "No way!" Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I for sure heard like some knocks was sounding like footsteps and stuff out in the hallway, like towards the nurses area when we were doing that. So
yeah. So I'm gonna ask you a question. Did you guys have any lingering effects afterwards?
no, not necessarily. Not that I know of. I mean, we were like we had the normal ghost hunt hangover, I call it,
Right.
but yeah, that's really
Yeah.
about it.
Um, Christina she had about 2 weeks of rough, and she's the one for anybody who watches this that was under Estes. Um, so she had 2 weeks of really, really rough. Um, and that's kind of why she was like, "Can we see the raw footage?" And you were like, "I don't know how to get it to you," because
Yeah.
she was trying to figure out, was there anything said or done that she didn't realize maybe had something attached to her. Um, and I told her, like, there wasn't anything out of the ordinary that happened during Estes. It was just, nobody said scratch Christina or,
Yeah.
use her energy or anything like that. Um, there was none of that. It was all, you know, push the flashlight, knock this device over, tell her one of our names. And so I told her like there wasn't anything crazy other than um just how everything was lining up from what she was saying to devices. And so yeah, but yeah, I had definitely had the post ghost hunt hangover. For those who don't know, so we're in Iowa, so we were
Oh,
it's a
okay. You're in Iowa. For some reason I was thinking Wisconsin.
oh, okay. So 6.5 hour drive for us. It's not too bad. But the night before we did Billy Creek Village. So, we did the investigation there at Billy Creek, stayed at a person's house that we know, got 4 hours of sleep, you know, go to the Indiana State Sanatorium and then do it all over again. So the hangover was a bit longer.
Yeah, I get that.
Uh,
Man.
but
Oh no. Someone put my face as their username or as their profile picture on here.
Yeah.
oh, nice. One of the cool things I think that happened too, that wasn't in the video. I wasn't there for it when it happened, but I kind of like met up with you guys at the end. But when the Ovilus like took you guys to that record room,
Yeah.
that was pretty cool too. When you guys are like, this like it just took us here,
Yeah. So
and
I was doing a little bit of research after the fact. That room is actually it was a what do you call it? Where they did like autopsies and stuff. Where
Mm.
they kept
oh, like
morgue.
the morgue.
Yeah.
Okay,
So it was at one point a morgue when it was the tuberculosis hospital.
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Nice.
and I I can't believe how run down that is. Like after 13 years.
Yeah.
I mean, oh,
It's because it's open.
it's just wow. I
Yeah.
mean, I loved your bat cam
Oh
because
yeah. Yeah,
uh
that was one of my favorite parts of the video.
did you guys pick up the audio from when my dad screamed from the bat when you guys were below us?
We might have, but I didn't run into it.
Okay, I wasn't for sure because it was maybe the girliest, least manly scream
That scared the hell out of
Yeah,
I've ever heard. Like we thought he was joking around about something initially,
yeah,
and then he was like, "No, the bat came back." And then you guys were like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
that was definitely we definitely heard it though. It was hilarious. It was hilarious.
um, yeah, the bats, yeah, because then we had them happen during Estes as well,
Yeah.
so that was fun. Um, it's crazy because I can't how many investigations I've been on. Oh, I mean, I've been on a lot. I've never, to my knowledge, experienced bats
Until these
Really?
last two.
Yeah.
until the last two at Billy Creek and at Indiana State.
Really. See, I have
Did you see 'em?
before, but never to that extent. It's always been like, oh, there's like one bat flying around. That was at Stone Mansion. So there was like
Okay.
one bat in there, and that was it.
Yeah, we were told about a bat at Fairfield County Infirmary in Ohio that we were at in July, but we never saw it.
We've seen it on the video.
But yeah, like it didn't like fly at us in the middle of the investigation or anything like
Yeah.
that. So kind of crazy. It's like,
Yeah, for sure.
but
I think we saw
it's a
at
good time.
least 10. We saw at least 10 in there. What do you guys think about the eyes? Like right after the bat cam, we caught like
It was weird. The
eyes.
growl. I heard the growl very
Yeah.
clearly originally. You didn't need to slow it down for me to hear the growl. But the eyes were interesting. My dad hasn't watched yet, so he gets to experience that still. So
Hell yeah.
yeah, that was a good catch because I wouldn't have caught that.
Yeah.
Um,
I
but yeah,
actually, so originally I heard the growl first. So I was like, okay, maybe we can see like what's making that possibly if I brighten this up. So I brightened it and it was just right there. It looked like something kind of peeking over that railing there. So
yeah.
We were just sitting there.
No. This was him. They were on their own.
Oh wow.
But
Mhm.
yeah, it was interesting because for us, so we don't have like a camera that we're walking around with at all,
Not anymore.
and we almost maybe could, um, because we set up our GoPros in spots. So like think old school Ghost Adventures before they sucked. You know, with like the X cam, right? It's like here's our strategic spots. We put our GoPros there, and then we watch all those GoPros, and then we have our digital recorders, with us to record audio. And it's almost like I don't know, maybe we should take one of those GoPros with us now and
yeah.
and do that because like I loved your light. Your light was fantastic.
Which one are you talking about?
You're like wand, like your
Oh
ninja wand.
yeah. So I know Alyssa was telling you guys I got that at Walmart, but I actually found that at Okefenokee. So
Oh.
it's just laying around in the woods. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, yeah, then maybe that would be good for us to catch things that we aren't catching in real time. Um, because we always have a GoPro that's just sitting in the dark where you can't see anything.
Yeah.
Because like we have one hooked up to infrared where you can see great. Then we usually have one set up with the light grid that we had at the nurse's station, and then the other one's just sitting in the dark. So it's like I don't know, maybe we can just take that around on and record with where we're at and
Oh yeah.
yeah. So
Definitely a good idea.
I don't see us doing drone footage though. I don't think any of us probably want to fly a
It's really not all that complicated to be honest.
crash it first day.
I started off with like a $40 drone from Walmart to kind of learn the controls and stuff because they all have like the same basic controls.
Okay.
Just when you get like more expensive ones, usually the only thing that's different is you can control the camera with the remote.
Okay.
But
So
it's not too bad at all. Not too bad at all.
I think we could figure it out.
so what did she think? Because I know you said she hasn't been on many.
She honestly, you'd have to ask her. Um, she's kind of iffy with the whole ghost stuff. She definitely thought the eyes were pretty cool. Um, and she took a minute to hear the growl, but yeah, she did eventually. She thought that was weird too. Um, but yeah, she used to before I met her, she was not a believer like at all.
That's what I thought.
Even though she's had
Weird
some
things.
like paranormal experiences in the past, her and her mom talk about seeing like this cowboy ghost at their house all the time when she was younger, but they were like they didn't somehow they didn't think it was paranormal.
It was just one of
Yeah,
those like, no, we just used to seeing this random cowboy show up in the middle of the night, and
yeah. It's like what? Come on, guys. But now I've kind of I feel like I've turned her and a lot of her family into believers slowly.
yeah, I've always enjoyed taking some people who have never been and question things, um, just so they can experience what it's like. So Steve Aldrich, who's a part of our team, when we first met him, he was kind of skeptical, and we were at Edinburgh Manor in Iowa, and it was him and I in a room when we were just sitting there, probably 6 feet apart, and we were kind of wrapping up a session, and we like standing up. And he was like, "Did you just touch me?" I was like, "Man, I'm not even like close to you." And it was pitch black. We didn't have any lights on, so we flip on one of like the headlights we got on our heads, and he's like something just touched me, and it's like, I mean, it's not me.
Yeah,
And then he got hooked, and he's still one of our more skeptical ones in the group. So
Mhm.
it's always nice to have that balance. He's pretty skeptical. Um, I question things here and there too. So it's kind of like a good balance to your group, to have people who are willing to question if what they're hearing is, you know, a ghostly spirit or a raccoon,
yeah,
in the ceiling potentially. So it's always fun to take those people because we've had some of those people go to places with us, and there are some people that I've found it doesn't matter what they experience, they will never believe.
yeah,
Because we have somebody who has gone multiple times that's a non-believer, and they've experienced things, and they will chalk it up to whatever they can dream up.
yeah.
Um, so, like, yeah, we had a guy. I don't know if you've ever heard of Malvern Manor, but
No.
it's in Iowa. It's pretty close to Villisca, which most people have heard of.
Oh yeah, I've heard
And
of that one.
so we had him go down this shadow man hallway by himself. He was down there maybe 5 minutes tops.
Down there longer than that?
And no, not that time.
No.
And his audio, you could hear like a pig snort,
Really?
which people talk about hearing that kind of thing. And we played it for him, and he was like, no, no. And so I played it for his wife, and she was like, what is that? Like, we didn't even tell her what was going to happen. We were just like, listen to this audio of your husband. And she heard it. And I was like, yeah, he says that that's not real.
Really?
Yeah. So
Some
there are
people
just some
just
people, they're never going to believe. I mean, the
yeah.
ghost could like manifest in front of them and punch them in the face, and they'd be like, nope, that was a dream.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're absolutely correct. I've met people like that as well.
So, yeah,
And then there's also like people that are like um just like way too gullible, I think. They
everything's
need like
paranormal.
yeah, yeah. Like the
Yeah.
wind could blow and they're like, "Oh my god, it's a ghost."
Yep. We could put them in a room with Aldrich, and his stomach will go crazy, and they'll just run because
Yeah.
his stomach is very, very notorious from making sounds that we
Yeah.
call out to, especially like when we listen to our audio, it's like, ooh. It sounded like a demon, and it's just Aldrich's guts, you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, there are some people who do. We know some folks that are like that, and when you're in a place in the middle of nowhere, and it's windy outside, you've got to really understand and acknowledge that things are going to be wind. Um,
Yeah. Absolutely.
so in Indiana State Sanatorium is kind of one of those places. Now, it wasn't windy when we were there. It was actually a really nice night. So we didn't have to deal with that. But what's the building, the 5-story building?
Oh
Adams.
man. That
Adams. Yep.
There's
Adams.
windows broken out everywhere, so you're just overly cautious about what you're trying to like call
yeah.
out. Is that paranormal, or is that, Darcy sitting in her circle outside talking to herself? Because that happened during the day. You're walking
Oh
around, you're like, what's that noise? And then it was Darcy sitting in her little circle thing outside.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but some people be like, no, 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 that wasn't. It's like, no, it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. It's always good to be a little bit skeptical for sure.
Yeah, I think it gives credibility too to investigators who are willing to present a piece of evidence and then go, oh, actually, we've now learned that it's this. Or investigators to say, hey, look at this, and this is actually what it is. So people
Yeah.
know that not all investigators are claiming everything is paranormal and everything is a ghost and everything is demonic.
Yeah.
Um, that's the thing that has been going on so much lately with the paranormal community is everything's demonic, and it's not.
Yeah.
um we have only had one person ever get scratched, and it was Christina recently
At Fairfield.
at Fairfield County Infirmary in Ohio at the end of July. She got scratched on the arm. That is the only time we've had anybody ever scratched, and we've been on like
Oh, that's
40.
cool.
Yeah, we literally, my dad will be like, scratch me, and no, they don't.
Yeah.
um
Same
you
way.
know but you see it all the time in shows where people are getting scratched all the time.
Yeah. That's just
um
like there's no way
No.
all that's happening, like actually happening.
yeah, it's like, think about how many times you might have an itch,
Yeah.
and you go and you scratch it, you don't realize it, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, kind of got a burning feeling. So yeah, we've only had one person ever get scratched.
Really.
Mm.
Yeah,
He
I thought I got scratched once at it was actually at the sanatorium, one of the first times I went in the day, and I had my buddy look at it, and he was like, "Hey, that's a pimple, guy." So it was a pimple. It just burned for some reason.
um yeah, we don't really have people get touched often either. um it's happened. Obviously, it's happened more frequently than people getting scratched. Shadow figures, we have seen, but very, very rarely. Um, we've only had some, like, an actual object move once. It was at Squirrel Cage Jail, where our flashlight got knocked off a bench.
Nice.
Um, it was actually pretty incredible. I was just wrapping up a Facebook Live session, and I wasn't paying attention. And so, like, I kind of freaked out because, like, I wasn't seeing it happen. I just saw like the end of it. But yeah, we've got like a footage where you can see the light on the wall where it rolls, where the light rolls
Hell
and
yeah.
everything. But you know, when that stuff happens every time, that, I think, hurts the credibility of what we are doing, which is, trying to go out to see if we can see if anything exists in the afterlife here.
Yeah.
And for us too, we go out, we have fun. We're
Oh
we're
yeah.
pretty easygoing. We're not uber serious or anything like that.
Yeah.
But when we present evidence to some people, like, we want them to take it seriously, and we don't want them to
Yeah.
discredit us because everything's demonic and really, so, we've actually been lucky enough to have a couple private investigations at residences as well,
Oh,
that have been pretty fun. So, um, when we've presented evidence and everything that, they take it serious that way,
yeah.
as opposed to, getting possessed every other episode.
Yeah, for sure. And unfortunately, people like the guys that do all that a lot. So
Yep. I mean, I get it, right? It makes exciting television and it brings
yeah,
in some ratings, but in terms of a credibility aspect, um, I just don't see the credibility with that group anymore. Like, give me like Jason Hawes and the Ghost Hunters crew to, go if you want to walk away with credible evidence and what is most likely going on.
yeah,
That's who I go with. They're gonna find they're gonna really dig and try to find what's going on and say this is actually a loose floorboard or you name it. So, but it was fun. I loved that place. We'll probably be getting together as a group here in the next month or so to figure out our 2025 plans. And
all right.
then I know there was some chatter from some folks about wanting to go back there and, you know, keep digging because it's
Oh,
it's a big place.
oh
You
yeah,
know, hitting it one night is just not happening because it's so big. So I don't know, if that will be on our radar in 25 or what we'll do. But yeah, we kind of lay out our yearly plans and get things booked, and that's definitely a place that it's worth going back to for anybody who is looking for a very big place to investigate. Indiana State Sanatorium it should be a bucket list for you.
absolutely, yeah. Yeah, Billy Creek as well. I've been to Billy twice, and it's always I've always gotten some good evidence there. So
Yeah, Billy Creek was really fun. Um, really unique place.
yeah,
Uh, we got a little bit of stuff there. Be curious at what some of our cameras caught. It's like one of the challenges that we had on this trip is typically we run cameras as well, with cords, and we have like a nerve center station
yeah,
and hook them up to TVs, so like we can sit there and watch cameras. Um, and Billy Creek doesn't really go well for that. Neither does Indiana State. Um, like for us, it's just figuring out like, can we find like a good like Wi-Fi system camera to use, and then wherever we're at, do they have good enough Wi-Fi for them to work?
yeah,
Because a lot of the places that we go to, we can easily run our cords and have those cameras set up where we can watch live, which is pretty fun to
yeah,
do, and you can catch some pretty cool stuff. Like we were at a place in Missouri, um, and we were sitting in the room watching, and you're hearing some weird noises coming from the basement off the camera that we were just sitting there happened to be watching. So we sent somebody down there to kind of check it out and then watched from there. Yeah, it was Beatty Mansion is where we were.
really. I gotcha.
So yeah, those two places don't lend well to corded cameras and trying to run 'em around. So
Yeah, my light just turned off.
I saw that.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed because I've got um, three night vision cameras that are corded that I like to hook up, but Billy and the sanatorium just aren't the place to do that.
Yeah,
But yeah, like places like the Randolph County Infirmary and all that stuff in Winchester,
yeah.
Indiana, yeah, great.
Randolph's awesome. Love that
Yeah,
place. Yeah,
I
we've
do
been
too.
there.
I've been 5 times.
Okay, yeah, we've been there twice, and That one's it's 8.5 hours for us,
Right.
um, to get there, a couple extra hours, but that I think is that might be the only place I've ever actually run.
Really.
Um, yeah, yep. Christine and I, we were sitting in the hallway on the men's side, and it's where the guy got pushed out the window.
I gotcha.
My dad and Steve Aldrich are down the hallway, and we just hear something like rush up on us from the room, and we're sitting there, and it's like, you hear it, and you can hear it, like audio getting closer to you, but you see nothing, and we just got up and ran. I
Yeah, I
mean,
get it.
we were
Um,
like, when we'd had a lot of activity that night too, so we, I was our instinct was run. Um,
yeah,
and then the second time we were there, I had to do a solo in the basement, and
gotcha.
I was just like, "Hey, I'm done. Can you guys like come down here and get me?" Because there were some weird noises going on, so I was just like kind of like frozen in the room, like one of the rooms down there, where I'm like,
Yeah.
"I'm done, but like I don't really want to leave," because so that place is pretty awesome. That's
Oh, yeah.
just it's a cool building too. Like that's where actually I saw um, one of two shadow figures I've ever seen. Was at Randolph County Infirmary in the basement on the tour.
Really?
We were on the tour and we were getting bored. And so my dad and I were walking down one of the hallways in the basement, and I saw a shadow figure just walk across down the hallway. And I was like, oh, somebody's down there.
Yeah.
Thinking it was somebody from our group. And so we go down there and we looked where it came from. There was nothing there. I looked where, like, it had crossed, and it was a concrete wall,
Really?
and was like, oh.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, "Oh, well, what?" And I'm like, no, there was a lady that walked across this hallway. I saw it with my own eyes. And, it was dark down there, but it wasn't like dark, dark yet because it was, we were there in, it was like mid October. It was
I
probably
got
like 7 o'clock.
I
So there
gotcha.
was still some light in there. But it was just plain as day. If I
Huh.
had art skills, I would be able to draw it. Like I
Yeah.
saw exactly what it was. Um, Plain as day. Just walk right by. And that's when I'm like, this is where my taking this camera with us would be nice, instead of
Yeah.
having them sitting there, like then maybe it would have caught it for us. So I'm gonna have, like I said, I'm gonna have to use that, take that idea from you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's definitely. I try and keep my cameras on as much as possible, so if anything does happen, it's not like, well, what happened to me at Billy Creek. I like the 5 minutes that I had my camera off, I got like this loud scream, and I was booking it. So I that will always forever be the one that got away. So I was pretty upset about that.
Yep, that's how it always works, right?
Yeah,
Have the recorder off or the camera off, and then fun stuff happens.
yeah,
Just like, when I had the flashlight got knocked off the bench, it's like, yeah, as I'm like done with the live stream and I'm hitting the share button, and then oh, there goes a flashlight. It's like, of course, you couldn't do that for everybody else.
yeah, yeah. But that's why I like having the security cameras too, because if anything happens in the building, you're gonna see it.
Hmm.
I actually caught a shadow figure at Randolph County as well. I actually caught this one on camera though. It was like running down the hallway. I think I showed you the video. This light, man.
Yes, you did, and yeah, I saw your light again too. Yeah, you did send that to me.
Yeah, that was probably one of the most incredible videos I've caught.
Makes it all worth it too, doesn't it?
Uh,
And it makes it all worth it.
oh yeah, absolutely. I agree. just even like usually it happens when I'm like thinking like, man, like is the paranormal real and all that because I hadn't gotten a lot of activity in a while, and
Right.
it always it always says, hey, whenever I'm doubting it. So
Yeah. You have any places you're gonna go for the rest of the year?
for the rest of the year, I'm looking at going to the Monroe Demon House in Hartford City. Um,
Okay.
yeah, so that place is pretty big around here. I don't know if you've heard of that one.
Have not. So
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's one of the scarier places, according to some people in Indiana. Um, Basically, there was like a body found in the basement, and they have like they call it the hole. It's like a crawl space in the basement ceiling. So you get up in there, and they have a little viewing window of the room that they found the body in. So
okay. You know,
it's really cool.
I've always found that the scariest places that nobody can ever manage to stay in are the most boring.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
We've
I've
had
been there once, and I got absolutely no activity
okay.
whatsoever.
We went to Boyd House in Minnesota one year, and it was 6.5 hour drive. We had multiple groups tell us it is the scariest house you'll ever go to. There's so many paranormal groups that can't make it through the night. And we're
Yeah,
like, yeah, man, this is gonna be sweet. Because then maybe it's a short night because we're scared and then we're leaving. It was boring as albeit. I
yeah,
mean, I don't know what time we left. We may I think we made it until like 3 or so. Um, but it was just super, super boring. Just
yeah,
not a lot going on. So that seems to be the experience with the you know, most haunted houses ever.
yeah.
Um, like Velisca, everybody talks about Velisca. I've been to Velisca, I might 8 times maybe,
Wow.
6 to 8 times overnight. Um, it's pretty hit or miss. It's a small, small house, so
Sure.
if it's a quiet night, like you're not really moving around.
Yeah,
But boy, I tell you what, when that place, you know, is active, it is active. And
yeah,
so I almost kind of wonder if some of these places that they're like everybody says it's the scariest, that they're just really hit or miss, and it's either super active or just dead quiet.
yeah.
Um, and then I always get the dead quiet.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I've found honestly that like some of the lesser known places like Okefenokee in Indiana that for some reason it's popular in some communities, but like not people around here know about it a little bit, but it's not like a huge thing outside of this area. But that place is one of the scarier places I've been. Um,
Okay.
they talk about like people talk about like howling, like weird howling noises and stuff like that out there. I've caught that on camera so many times I can't count. And it's not like it sounds. If you can think of like an owl and a wolf mixed, that's kind of what it sounds like when it howls. It's super weird. It's super echoey. It almost sounds like. Have you heard like how T Rexes are supposed to like sound now? Uh,
No.
no, more like yeah. They came out with something that said T Rexes didn't really roar. They made like a clicking noise and like a
Oh,
deep utteral clicking noise. That's kind of what it sounded like.
okay.
Um, but it was super weird. And what's even weirder is the only place I've ever heard something like that before, or like, well, after I suppose I didn't hear this till after, is a Skinwalker caught on camera compilation on YouTube. So that was
Okay.
pretty. I was like, oh my god, what did I just hear on this video when I heard it? That was definitely interesting. And what's even cooler is out there they had the Miami natives. They had a village out there, and they their religion was based around what they called like it's like Ichi something, but basically it's described as a being that can like transform into like different animals and stuff like that. So pretty much a skinwalker.
Okay.
So it was definitely interesting.
Yeah, I've found the best evidence we get is when like we're not around.
Yeah.
Not the stuff that we're experiencing in person, but what we find watching later. Um,
Oh yeah.
just some like moans and like knocks, and that's usually some of the best stuff. I mean, me personally, what I was the best thing we've ever caught was at Velisca, but I was in the house by myself, and it was absolutely wild. Where I was sitting upstairs with my back to the attic, and there was a loud bang, and I was on Facebook Live,
Oh yeah.
and then I could hear like all these footsteps downstairs, and I was on like the walkie-talkie with the group. They're outside, and I'm like, "Did somebody like come in?" Because we had a couple people who were gone, so I was like, "Oh, maybe they showed back up and came in the house, not realizing I'm in here alone." And it was prom, so I was like, or maybe some locals showed up, and they're
Yeah.
like, "No, no," and I'm like, "No, there's somebody down there." So I go downstairs to look. There's nothing there, and then I look, and the door to the house is open. Um,
Really.
and the audio evidence that and we have it on YouTube on our YouTube was phenomenal because you can hear just like the thump, thump,
Yeah.
thump, and you can hear me be like, "Holy shit! Like somebody's down there." But otherwise, the stuff we get when we're gone, like uh, from Fairfield, like we caught something where it sounds like they're dragging like a chair across the wooden floor, and you
Really.
just hear like the, grrr, and you're just like, "What the heck is that?"
Yeah.
We've had some moans, like, at Edinburgh up on the 3rd floor, um, just this woman moan, like, she was in pain, and you're like, "What on earth is that?" You know?
Yeah.
And that's the stuff that you go back for more because 'cause you're like, "I wanna hear this when I'm there to see if we can, like, follow up on it." And of course you never get it happen when you're there.
Yeah.
Then you like walk away and, oh, now they did it. And so you just it's so fun. I would just tell people, if you can find a group that's going somewhere, if you're wanting to experience, to just reach out. I think a lot of groups are willing to take people along.
Oh
um
yeah.
just if you've never been and you're going by yourself with a group, just do what they ask you to do. And if you've got a couple people who are going, just work with that group on how you want to coordinate stuff. Like we never really overlapped each other in terms of
Yeah. No.
messing each other up. And for the record, like for the video, like when he was walking us, we didn't hear him at all.
Really.
Like, there was the one
Oh.
time
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
when we met with you, and we were like, "Yeah, we couldn't really tell what you're saying." Otherwise, we had no clue you were like, when I was watching, I was like, "He was walking us?"
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. That was definitely. Alyssa was pretty scared right there. I was definitely like getting there. It was definitely working me up a little bit. Over in
And
the nurses HQ, but
yeah, so I'm not sure where we were. Uh, because like that compound is so large. But like they're supposed to be good range for those walkie-talkies. So I think it was supposed to be like a quarter of a mile. So we should have been able to like reach each other, but if there was a lot of interference with some of the walls, depending on where we were too, I could see where they weren't
yeah.
working. But um that was wild. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
no, I feel bad." Like,
No, it's all
we did not ignore him. We had no idea.
right. Yeah, it's all right. It was that probably made it like a more interesting experience for sure. So I'm
Right?
glad about it.
Right? We're calling for help, and help's not coming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was like as soon as we started investigating too. So like
I
actually,
remember you guys telling us that. So, like, right when you guys started. So I wonder where we were. I don't know. Were we down there? We had to have been down there in one of
I
those
think
buildings, not at the office.
yeah, I think you guys said something about like driving up to the front or something real quick, something like that. I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah. It's kind of wild, right? Like you have to like drive.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
it's super cool.
it's like because I know like in the video I was like I kind of like saw the headlights and I was like, oh look at us driving like
Yeah,
it's so big. Like I mean it's walkable, but not at night. Mm-mm.
yeah,
No, just for like your own safety, like you're not walking that from the office down to the structures. But I'll be excited too to see kind of what they do with those buildings if they want to do bed and breakfasts in.
yeah. Absolutely, that'll be awesome. I cannot wait to stay in in the ISS bed and breakfast. That'll be so cool.
Yeah, and I did. I crashed in in one of the beds where the office was. Um, Probably around like 2:33, something like that.
Really?
And I was that Estes method, man.
Yeah.
I was worn out.
Oh
Like
yeah.
that
Did
was
you guys ever
exhausting.
end up going to the third floor after that?
I don't know what they did.
Oh really? I
I
got
don't.
you.
Yeah, because yeah, they went back and investigated. Um, and I just crashed. So
Really?
I was like, I'm dead. I'm dead tired. Like,
Yeah.
there's just no way. I don't have it in me. So I crashed for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then they were like, they came back, and I'm like, I woke up, and they had like brought
Really?
all the stuff from like the cameras and stuff with, and so like packing up was really easy for me. I didn't have to go
Oh
anywhere.
yeah.
Um, and then we kind of hit the road after that. So yeah, we I think we got on the road at like 5.
Really? Yeah, I ended up, I think it's like a 2.5 hour drive for me or something, if not three. I ended up getting home at like 5 o'clock.
Okay.
But it works out for me because I work night shift. So
Okay.
got home and went to bed, got up
Yeah.
at like 4 in the
Yeah,
afternoon.
we got back to Iowa around noon,
Bro.
12:30, something like that. Because we gotta we've go backwards an hour. So
Yeah.
um it always messes with you when you go you're planning your trip and it's like, all right, 7-hour drive. Check
Yeah.
ins at this time. Well, we gotta like factor that hour jump ahead.
Yeah.
But we got back like at a decent time, and we were all off on Monday and
Oh
had
yeah.
that chance to kind of try to recover. But yeah, that hangover was definitely real though. That was
Yeah. That's a good one for sure. Um,
yeah.
yeah, I did notice like in the buildings, it was kind of hard to breathe in there, like with the heat,
Yes.
all the fucking dust and shit like that.
It was. Words and video cannot describe like how rundown and dusty and asbestos ridden that it is. Like you the fifth and fourth floor of the Adams building just looks straight out of like a
Oh yeah.
war.
Oh yeah.
Like I remember telling them I was like, I don't even want to like go up there again
Yeah.
because like I didn't think like it was gonna fall through like the floor or anything. Like
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was walking on half the time.
Yeah. There were definitely a couple of soft spots. I'll tell you that much.
So yeah, it's just you can't describe just how bad
Yeah.
it, that's why like when we were talking like And I was like, yeah, I forgot my mask because like I was wearing a mask to start the night because of how dusty it was because I got dust allergies. So I was like, I probably should so that I'm not like death warmed over by the end of the night. And then I forgot
Yeah.
it after a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
By the end of the night, I was definitely pretty congested. So
yes.
I'll have to look into getting a decent mask for all that stuff. Um, it's just hard because like I'm recording and all that, and it's harder to hear you
Hard to
talk.
hear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you do see those groups where they, wear their masks in some of the asbestos places, and it definitely muffles their audio.
Yeah.
Because like the Project Fear group, you'll see them with it on every now and then. Obviously, Ghost Adventures, they'll have it on,
Yeah.
and for good reason too. I mean,
Oh yeah.
you don't want to constantly be breathing that stuff in, especially as much as those folks go on them.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I've actually got a video backlogged for Billy Creek that I'm gonna be posting next.
Okay.
It'll probably be sometime next month. I recorded this video before I even went to Randolph County the last time, so it's been a while.
Okay.
I've got all the footage. It was probably like a month or two before you guys went when you went,
Okay.
so it's been a good 3-4 months at least.
I'll be excited to watch that one. That's
It's
just a cool place.
Yeah, I haven't even looked at the footage yet, so I'm thinking we definitely got some good stuff. Um, so yeah, that'll be what's next. I'm also doing a charity event for the Marion Public Library, October 11th.
Okay.
I'm gonna be live streaming that for YouTube and all that stuff. I'm doing a Paranormal 101 class for them.
Nice. All right.
So I bought this. I don't think I brought this with me there, but it's a Bigfoot cast.
No, yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, that's
Where'd,
the Honey Island swamp monster. It was sighted in Louisiana, and it was sometime like 1957 or something like that. They have a little video that goes with it. So,
Very cool.
but yeah, it's gonna be. I'll be working on that for the next month.
Okay.
So getting a good long presentation going. Then I'm doing a history tour for them. So I got to
Oh,
go
okay.
there. They said they'd bring some artifacts out for me so I can kind of like look up the history on those.
Okay.
But it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, that will be. We haven't done anything like that yet. I know we got invited out to be a vendor at I can't remember what it was, but it didn't jive with our schedules. I
Really?
think it was like the weekend before we were going to. Was it the weekend before Fairfield or the weekend before Indiana, one of the two.
I got
So it was one of those where it's like, you know,
Yeah.
2 weekends shot in a row.
Yeah.
Not sure. We want to make sure that we're ready to go. So we didn't do that, but we've talked about doing stuff like that where there's some places around that will do different like events where, like a paranormal group will help host like an event for the public and kind of do like a Q&A, you know, at the start of the night and then break up into groups and investigate and then meet back up. So
Oh,
we've
yeah.
talked about doing that at some places that will do things like that, but haven't pulled the trigger on trying to connect with some people to do it, but we've got a couple connections to places that we might do something like that, you know,
Oh, yeah.
to do paranormal 101s, group investigate,
Oh,
um, different techniques, stuff like that. So,
yeah. Yeah, I would definitely love to do more stuff like that. I'm getting to the point where I'm going to be making some money off this stuff soon. So
yeah, haha,
I eventually want to do
gotta hit
this.
the 1,000.
Yeah. I'm actually, when we started this live, I was at like 888. I'm at 899 now.
All right.
One away from 900. That means 100 more people to go.
Heck yeah.
We did pretty good last night. We had a live just ghost hunting in this room, and 30 people subscribed. So
Nice. That is a good night.
yeah, uh, I actually I am getting a cake smashed in my face on live stream once we hit 1,000 subscribers. So
Excellent. Excellent.
it's gonna be
Yeah,
something.
we want to dedicate more time into YouTube for our group. We just, you know, we're not that tech savvy.
No, I get
um, so like I'm on my phone right now, and so going live from my phone doesn't work until told me 50 when I was trying to do this.
really.
Um, so we're at 37. I know in the past when we tried to set 100 subscribers for a phone, but maybe they lowered it since then because we've had people who follow our Facebook page who want us to. They're like, do YouTube. It's easier to pull up on our TV. Um, and we just haven't been able to pull it off. And so we do like a lot of Facebook live streams when we investigate.
Oh yeah.
Which Indiana, well, the two, it was not good. Like Billy Creek and Indiana State Sanatorium did not work well for us to live stream.
Oh
So,
yeah. Yeah, I tried
um,
it. Indiana State Sanatorium too, and it just I couldn't even
just
pull a minute off on the live.
yeah. So we get quite a few people who will tune in and watch those with us, or
Uh,
as we're investigating anyway. But yeah, we always talk about like how can we dedicate, and figure out YouTube a little bit more because we'll post evidence there and everything, like in shorts and stuff. So
yeah.
we've had some things get some pretty good hits on shorts, with a couple thousand views, but
Tell
you
you,
know,
not too long ago, like a few months ago, I took a little bit of a hiatus. So this year I like started back up, and I started at like 400 subscribers this year. So for a month I decided I was gonna do like 2 3 shorts a day just to see if it was like gonna pay off, if it was gonna get me more views and stuff, and like how much I could get, how realistic it would be for me to do like keep doing YouTube. I ended up getting like 57,000 views and like 400 subscribers. I doubled my count in that 1 month. So it was definitely shorts are the way to go for sure.
yeah, people definitely watch the shorts. Um, but as somebody who really loves going on investigations, I prefer to watch videos.
Oh yeah, I get it.
Like I like watching, the investigation, and watching what unfolds rather than a snippet. But yeah, I mean, I get it. We put out shorts that hit, and then you can put out like a 2-minute long piece of evidence that's just
Yeah,
fantastic, and then like 20 people watch.
yeah,
Um, and so yeah, YouTube's just weird. The algorithm, it's madness.
yeah, for sure. YouTube definitely does push out shorts more. They're kind of in competition with TikTok and all that stuff right now.
Yeah,
That's kind of why. But yeah, like some of the shorts depend. Like if you keep up with it, it's all about consistency on YouTube. Really,
yep,
just trying to post a video every couple days or whatever, whenever you can, or even going live. I know you said it wouldn't work for you, and that sucks. But when it does work for you, I suggest what's up, Maddie? I suggest definitely going live often if you can. Like even if you're just sitting here like this talking to like other creators and stuff like that, or like ghost hunting at your house or something like that, that definitely helps.
yeah.
But yeah, TikTok too. I don't know if you guys do TikTok, but TikTok's a
We're
great.
old. No,
I
we're
I
old.
wouldn't
Of
get on
course
it
not.
forever. I was kind of like No, that's stupid. All that stuff, and then I finally did, and I've got 1,500 over there, almost 1,600 followers over there. So it is definitely worth it.
Yeah, we're a bunch of old folks, you know.
Yeah, I get it. Especially like that's also like if you ever plan to make money off this stuff, I know most people do. TikTok definitely it pays the fastest. You will most likely make the quickest buck on TikTok.
Okay. Christina has TikTok, so I'll have to ask her.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You can't go live there until you have 1,000 followers. But again, it's like all about the whole algorithm thing. It's just got to be consistent. And you'll get there in no time.
Yeah, could probably have her do some TikTok stuff and then like give her some bunch of old evidence that we have
Oh
sitting
yeah,
out there that we've never posted anywhere. That's the thing too, is like we've got evidence that we've never posted. So like we just need to like take the time to sit down with our evidence and go, we have all this evidence, let's snip it into a clip and then schedule it to go
yeah,
out. But, we're always so caught up, like our group, we're always so caught up in reviewing, trying to review to the best of our ability and then
yeah.
plan and investigate, because like we go on 6 to 8 of these a year.
Really.
So like it's just so hard to review all your evidence, because you get 3 GoPros sitting there running all night long for
Yeah.
a
Oh
lot
yeah.
of hours.
That's like 120 minutes of, or it's a lot. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's always our biggest problem. And then you sit there and you're watching the footage for 3 hours and nothing happens, and then you're
Yeah.
like, "Well, do we want to watch some other room?"
Yeah, honestly, like I'm not even like yeah, it would have been cool to use like my security cameras and stuff at the sanatorium, but I'm also so glad I didn't have to because that's like an extra 12 hours of footage you got to go through for each
Yeah,
camera. So
right. And it's not really, and even though it's like a 12-hour recording, it's still longer than 12 hours because you're like
yeah,
backing things up, and
yeah,
and then you get, and then that 12 hours is 15.
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
some people, I don't.
I spent probably a good 20 hours at least on that sanatorium video. So. And I got it down to 40 minutes, so I did pretty good with that.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Oh,
try and keep the videos like high stakes or whatever, more intense. So I
yeah.
keep the more active stuff in there. I did put a little bit more of the like kind of messing around, goofing off stuff in this one because it was a fun night. Like you want that in there too.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because it's not always dead serious.
Yeah, for
You gotta
sure.
like you gotta entertain yourself a little bit.
Yeah,
And I'll say too during Estes, like I typically I don't really provoke and speak as sternly as I did that night. Um, so that was actually like normally something that I don't do.
yeah,
But I don't know. There was something that night during that Estes where just like the frustration was setting in, where it's like, you're doing
absolutely.
all this stuff, so like do something different,
Yeah,
because we wanted to like, it's like, tell us your name. No, we're not gonna say name, and so yeah, like that was definitely different, and but honestly, it made for some like great evidence because that was wild, just wild.
1 second here, guys. Yeah, it was definitely a really good night. By the way, I'm always looking for like podcasts and stuff to do, like little live streams, whatever. So if you ever feel like getting on live, like again, getting trying to get some more viewership on your channel, I'm always up for that.
Okay, yeah,
Just give me time and all that. Oh, what's up, Kay? But yeah, for sure. I usually get like technically like 5 to 900 viewers per live stream, but those aren't. I usually get like a few concurrent viewers, so people that like stick around and all that. So it'll definitely
Yeah.
get some viewership for you.
Okay.
I'm all about getting smaller channels some more views. Um, I know like there was a lot of people that helped me when I was first starting off.
Okay.
I was like helping other people too. But yeah, like I said, uh, I would definitely look into like doing TikTok stuff for sure.
Okay.
I'm working. I'm not very good with the whole like media thing. I kind of suck at it. That's something I'm slowly getting better at is promoting my stuff, keeping up with the socials and all that. I just haven't really had a team ever to do that for me. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's our hardest is keeping up with trying
yeah,
to be consistent out there, and it's a grind. That's for sure. So
yeah.
some people don't realize just how much work goes into
Oh yeah, it's like having. I always
doing
tell
anything.
people it's like having a part-time job on top of working full-time.
Yeah. I mean, just an investigation to investigate and then properly review everything. It's literally another job because
Yeah,
you're
absolutely.
gone the whole, an investigation. It's not just the one night because it impacts the next day in
Yeah,
terms of your sleep and what you're doing, and uh then to review all the evidence, it's a whole other that's a whole other deal.
yeah,
And more time. So, you know, trying to weigh all of that and balance how you do it, it's tough. Like,
absolutely. Yeah,
so yeah, like your videos, like putting in that time with the editing and stuff, like props, it's top notch. So,
oh, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's really. I love doing it. So it's like not really a job. Like they say, do what you love, and you'll never work a day in your life. So
right?
I'm trying to do this full time, so I never have to work again. It'd be
Yeah,
nice.
there you go.
Um, yeah, I've really been grinding down on it here lately,
Good,
especially
good.
this weekend. I've done quite a few live streams this weekend. Earlier, I was in a cemetery just hanging out with some dead people.
Nice. We've never done that. We've talked about that.
Yeah, I've been talking about it for a few weeks now. I finally did it today, so it was a good time. I didn't really get any activity, but it was still like whenever I was just chilling, hanging
Right.
out, hanging out with a few of the spirits out there.
Uh-huh. Well, what else you got for me? You got anything else or
Oh, not really, man. I will say, what like editing software do you guys do before we end this? Nothing in particular.
nope? We have no editing software. Everything that we do is raw footage that we'll record it straight from like a computer or the TV. Um, so if we catch something, then we get our cell phone out and we record that clip and then get it up there. So yeah, we have no editing software or anything like that.
I got you.
Everything everything we listen to is it's just the raw footage and raw audio. So like
Oh,
we
yeah.
don't even have like an audio like to try to like see the frequencies to maybe make that easier. We don't even have that. We just straight up listen to it.
I gotcha. So I will say I use CapCut on the phone. It's right on the phone. It's a great tool. Especially it's really meant for like shorts and stuff like that. But it's cheap. You can use the free version. I think up to a certain time limit. It'll leave the watermarks out, but for a year it's like $50 some for the year. so it's
Okay.
pretty cheap. Um, it's a great all around editing software. You can like edit your audio. You can it's called extracting your audio from your video. So you can cut out like certain words if you don't want it in there for some reason. I definitely do that a lot. Um, but like you were saying, you don't really provoke like spirits and stuff. I started out like really trying to piss them off instead of like trying to like get answers and stuff. I was trying to piss them off, so I'd sit there and call them names and all that stuff. So some of those names I'd have to cut out.
I just never want to get scratched. Like I'm not the guy that's like scratch me. I'm like, no, I'm good. Let's
I
scratch the other
definitely
guy.
am. It's I've got one more funny story for you. I know you're probably about ready to get off here, but the way I got Alyssa to start like believing in this stuff is I used to always every time I'd invite the spirits to come home with me, which is so dumb,
Yes, yes.
and I didn't realize how stupid it was until it actually happened. Um, Alyssa was like freaking out at me. She'd call me at work all the time because I work night shift, so I wouldn't be there. It sounded like someone was literally breaking into our house and all that. Our fire alarm would go off at 10 o'clock every night, and the place that I think I picked the spirit up from was another old poor farm, like Randolph County. But it had actually burned down at in the nighttime. So it was definitely an experience. We got a lot a lot of activity from that. But she was pissed, so I had to stop doing that.
Yeah.
So just in case it ever happens again, I keep sage on me at all times.
Yeah, we've saged before.
Yeah. So
We have definitely saged. Um, the one thing that I wish we could have gotten to work for you when we were there, and this will be my last story then. Um, I really wish we would have gotten the SLS camera to work.
oh yeah.
Um, I we were having problems with it in Ohio, and just the problem it would just not. I don't know what's going on with it, but we were at Velisca, and we were sitting in the living room, which is just basically a clean shot to the kitchen, and we had the SLS out, just filming into the kitchen, and all of a sudden there were two figures that popped up in the kitchen, and one was at the sink as if they were washing their hands, and another was just sitting on the chair
Really.
at like 1:30 a.m., which very well could have been the time when the killer or killers were done and cleaning up.
Yeah.
And it was one of those where you're just sitting there going, wow, um, this is happening right now. And and considering they don't know if it was one or two people, it was really, really cool. And
Yeah.
we've captured so much cool stuff with that camera. Um, I don't know if you ever watched the Ghost Hunters when Grant came back with his new team with like Brian Murray and Rochelle Stratton and
Yeah.
like
I've seen some.
so for one, Brian Murray and Rochelle Stratton are fantastic individuals. They're great. So is Mustafa. But we were at Malvern Manor with them for an event.
Really.
And yeah. So we were down in Shadow Man Hallway when we had shown them some evidence that we had gotten on the SLS camera at Malvern Manor. And they were like, "Holy crap, that's crazy."
Oh yeah.
And we were filming with the SLS with them, and there was a figure that mapped out in the bathroom and was taking a shower.
Really.
And when you have two people who've been on television that have been doing it for like 20
Yeah.
years and they're like, "I've never seen anything like this before in my life," it's kind of cool. And that's why I really, really wish that it would have worked, because I think we could have gotten some really cool stuff there with that camera. So
Yeah.
I don't
Oh yeah,
know.
for sure.
I don't know
I
why it won't work.
really. I had my own there for a while. I paid $400 for this thing, and somehow I lost the freaking tablet to it. So, but luckily, I've got all this crap still, all like the rigged up
Yeah,
Connect. So all I need now is a
there's a
good
tablet with the
tablet for it. Yeah.
yeah, because like it will work, but then when we go to switch the views so that the Connect view is the main view, it just dies. It just
Right.
crashes. Yeah. And it's kind of one of those where it's like I want that view so that I can see anything that's mapped out a little bit easier than the little square. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what was going on with it. Um, we thought we had it working, and then got there to Indiana State and had issues, and thought we had it working, and then it crashed, and we are just kind of frustrated with
Oh,
technology.
yeah, I get it. I really do. I really do get it. I'm working on getting better with PCs right now because there's a lot of better editing software and all that stuff on there. So it's a lot quicker too. I've done. I think my I did a few things for my Blackford County jail, or not Blackford County jail. For the Randolph video I did not too long ago on the computer, and it turned out great. So
Nice.
I'm definitely trying to do my best to get better with that, and like live streaming games and stuff, like Bigfoot and all that. I do all that on the computer. So,
Okay.
but yeah, I think that's about it, though.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure having you guys along at Indiana State.
Oh yeah.
So if we're ever around the area again, I'll definitely let you know. So
Oh yeah. You definitely need to check out the Monroe House and the Blackford County Jail. They're like right across the street from each other. So that's something you
okay.
could do like you did with Billy Creek and the sanatorium.
Yeah.
You can stay like 2 nights in a row or something like that.
Okay.
The Blackford County Jail is actually owned by the same people that own Randolph. So
Oh.
yeah, you know what you're doing with there. They're all
Yep.
great people, great
Yeah.
staff, all that. But yeah, oh yeah. If you ever come around again, let me know, and I'll definitely be willing to join you.
All right. Yeah. Sounds good to me.
Oh yeah, but yeah, it was nice talking to you
Yeah.
again.
Good to talk to you again as well. Yeah.
I'll see you later.
Good luck.
Yeah, you
Thanks.
too. See ya.
Bye.